You're watching Meet the Movie Press, and coming up, we're going to be talking about The Flash, David Ayer directing the Scarface remake, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
Well, hello, Simon.
Hello there.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I've been so busy this week. It has been not the busiest.
I was on this red carpet. I was at this premiere. I was talking to...
Seriously.
I know.
Premiere's coming out of the wazoo this week.
We want to hear all about how popular you are and how popular I am not.
Cool.
Welcome to Meet the Movie Press.
Yeah.
That is what you are watching this Friday morning. Yeah. I am your loyal host, Jeff Sneider, editor-in-chief of The Tracking Board, tracking-board.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The InSneider.
I'm Simon Thompson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ShowbizSimon. Also have a Facebook page. This is Simon Thompson, and a couple of nice little exclusive tidbits for the show this week.
Oh, I can't wait to hear them.
Talking of exclusives, if you go to my profile on Forbes right now, I have just revealed exclusively the first haunted house maze for this year's Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights.
But I want to hear it, so...
It's The Shining.
That's fucking awesome.
Too fucking right, it's awesome.
Are you going to... So, since you clearly have an in there,
Yeah.
Are you going to take me on opening night?
I will take you on opening night.
Really?
Yeah.
Does your wife like to go to those things? Or
She
gonna
fucking hates those things.
Great.
So I always
I'm
have
not
a plus one.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So that it's brilliant because Stephen King properties he's super tight about that stuff. But the guys who are in charge of it, John Murdy, who's a creative director, is a massive Stephen King fan, has been working on this for years to make it happen. The first maze they've announced this year is The Shining. They're bringing the Overlook.
I just want to be I hope that they could. Could you see me as one of like the little twin girls?
Yeah, I could.
Maybe you. What if you
But
and
I
I
have some
got,
really weird dreams.
What if you and I dressed up like
together?
We're actually the girls in the maze.
Hey, Red Rum.
We have a lot to get to.
We do.
Let's do
to
it.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Okay. Let's talk.
Pick something good. Dude.
Okay. Let's talk about. You mean the Power Rangers? I think you're talking about. Let's talk about The Flash.
Yeah, big news on The Flash this
lot
week.
Of talk around
that. Was there?
Well, there was a lot of chatter.
Chatter, yakety
A lot
yak.
of chatter, a lot of chit chat. So the big story this week, I say big with a small b,
right?
Is Bob Zumekis is still basically front runner for this project. That's apparently who they're still really, really keen on. Sam Raimi and Mark Webb apparently both passed on the opportunity to direct The Flash. Now, Mark Webb and Sam Raimi obviously have previous form with Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Out of the versions of Spider-Man of those two guys, I would have liked to have seen Sam Raimi's Spider-Man-esque take on The Flash, because I like his pacing, I like his aesthetics, I like his style and his little bit of dark humor.
Yep.
I did not enjoy Mark Webb's incarnations of Spider-Man. So out of those two, I would have been interested in seeing Sam Raimi's stuff. And he hasn't done anything in a little while.
It has been a little while
It's been
for
a little
Sam
while.
Raimi. He's just been producing stuff. But from what there was a lot of Twitter chatter. Yes.
Twitter chatter.
And Shannon and Swift, the screenwriters,
Yes.
they chimed in and they said that they heard that Sam was busy when The Flash is shooting, alluding to their own Bermuda Triangle movie. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like that is going to be next for Sam Raimi if they are to be trusted, and why wouldn't they be?
Why wouldn't they be?
Good bunch
they
of
also
good
have
guys.
excellent taste in beer, by the way. They often post pictures of them sitting in hot tubs drinking Ballast Point.
Hey, if I were them, I would too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is what happened. A couple weeks ago, Andy at Screen Junkies put this out, that he had heard Zumekis was in talks, which was not, I mean... you were right. He was the target. He was probably the name. The in talks thing, I don't know if that's the right terminology. Because like Justin at Variety was sort of saying on Twitter, like in talks means there's almost like an agreement between the two already that they're going to try to work towards a deal.
Yes, it does.
It's like... I don't know. It's a little bit different than I think what had happened, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Of course, now Zemeckis is still in the picture, and so Umberto at the Wrap said that he is the front runner. He went with the front runner story, even though the front runner story didn't really advance the Screen Junkies story. I sort of get what Screen Junkies was saying with their Intox story.
But a lot of people, I mean, as we said before on the show, a lot of people are in talks for a lot of projects, but they're often.
Well, they
have conversations.
When you see Intox in the trades, that is a trade reporter basically saying like 85-90%. This is like a sure thing.
Yeah.
It's not a maybe the odds aren't always that strong, which is where you get things like early talks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different like you always get early talks and final negotiations. There's no like early negotiations. It's very.
You first have the conversation, you kind of sound them out, and then it becomes something a bit more formal, and then you go steady, and then you seal the deal.
Talking to someone about a project or a meeting with them, I don't think that meets the level of Intox.
Yeah.
So anyways, right after Umberto does this, Kroll chimes in and says it's now between Zemeckis and Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, Boris chimes in and adds Sam Raimi to the mix. And then, like, the following day, I think it was, what was it, EW maybe that said that Webb and, And that's, like, owned by Time Warner. So there's a little bit of synergy. I mean, I don't know how separate the Warner Brothers, I'm sure that they have a person at Warner Brothers that they can call, EW, when they need clarification on something in the DCEU. Anyways, I tweeted about how sad I think it was.
Yeah.
That these guys, like, I know Robert Zemeckis needs a hit after Allied didn't do so well. I like that he's sticking to his guns on Marwen Call.
You do, and that's a good point. But if you're DC and you desperately need a film to really work outside of the hardcore fan base, you don't just give someone a job because they need a hit.
No. Dude, Bob Zemeckis would be a fucking coup for the DCEU. They would love to have him. I think that, they have to be willing to push the Flash. If they want to wait for Zemeckis. Like, Zemeckis is doing Marwen Call. Steve Carell's deal is closed. That movie has a release date now. He would not be able to like keep up the schedule for Flash, so they would have to be willing to delay it. But couldn't they, given all these new DCEU movies that have been announced as in development, like since the original plan was put forth?
Yeah.
Like there's a Nightwing movie, there's a DC Sirens movie. Like, couldn't that take the Flash's spot on the calendar if one of those were to ramp up production quickly? Joss Whedon's Batgirl, for instance. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that the ability to do that is slightly hampered by the fact that they are having to, some projects are taking longer to come together than others. And I think they're having to go back and revisit some projects and look, sort of tweak like Justice League and stuff like that. So I think that is one of the reasons that they can't do that. It's slowing the process down.
But it's
I don't know why they don't shoot some of these movies back to back. Get a director to take on like a 2 or 3 movie.
I think they should wait for the director that they want. Though they shouldn't be trying to hit a release date. And if they are in fact trying to stick to that release date, they may have to go in a different direction than Zemeckis.
But I don't think they're the only ones in the industry that are doing that. I mean, that becomes no,
of course not. But at this point, I mean,
Marvel do it as they set movies like 5 years.
But Marvel is also open to course correction. Like they ditched Inhumans.
That is true.
They have delayed movies.
Yeah, that's
true.
Like
they move around the calendar. Anyway, but like I was just surprised that any of these guys would want to go enter a DCEU where a bunch of the decisions have already been made, including the casting. I mean, there's 3 actors attached to this Flash movie. Like, Zemeckis didn't have a say in any of this.
Yeah.
You would just think that he would want to launch, like, an original property rather than have to fit into someone else's, like, vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm also
Same thing with Matt Vaughn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Matt Vaughn would be great. I would love to see Matt Vaughn do it.
Well, everybody would love to see Matt Vaughn do it, but it's like, brilliant. Why would he do it? I don't get it. He has so much creative freedom with these Kingsman movies. I know that there was speculation that he was trying to leverage Fox into greenlighting a 3rd film so that he didn't go off and do the Flash. And, that's certainly a strategy I've seen agencies use, play studios off of each other. But
I think with some of these names that we're seeing in the pot, I mean, Zemeckis aside, we've got Joss Whedon, who's going over and doing a DC movie. Two of these names we've mentioned, Sam Raimi and Mark Webb, have done Marvel movies. So, I mean, is that a new ploy, or is that a new tactic potentially for the DC guys to look and go, well, they've obviously given their golden touch to Marvel product. Can we get the same guys to give their magic touch to DC product and not copy what Marvel's doing, but just bring a little bit of that connectivity?
If Sam Raimi wanted to do a comic book movie, why wouldn't he just throw his hat in the ring for Venom, which is the movie he always wanted to make?
Yeah. Venom versus Darkman.
You know, Sony would be lucky to get someone like Sam Raimi back on a project like that. I don't know. The Flash thing is crazy. And then there were reports that Billy Crudup had dropped, and that was EW, I believe. Yep. They said that Billy Crudup had dropped out of the movie, and then Warner Brothers clarified, no, he hasn't. Now, I think anything is open for debate, you know, once a new director comes on board, depending on who that director is. If it's a yes man, they'll go along with whatever the plan is. If it's someone like Zemeckis, I just don't see, like, he's going to want to put his stamp on this thing. He's Bob Zemeckis.
Yeah. So I would be happy with Bob Zemeckis if he ends up doing it.
We would all be happy with Bob Zemeckis. I don't know if it's going to happen. If it does, they will have to wait.
Staying with DC, good reactions coming out of the first official screening of Wonder Woman. Yesterday.
A lot of great reactions. Thanks for the invite, Warner Brothers.
I'm seeing it tonight.
Ooh,
because I'm sitting down with the cast on Sunday for E. I'm interviewing the cast for E.
That's exciting.
Which is super cool. And Wonder Woman, a little inside information, was the first woman to give me a little jolteroonie in the pantaloons when I was a young fellow on TV. I loved her.
Are you saying you got your first boner?
No. She was the first.
What's
she was
happening here?
She was the first female that I looked at and went, hello. I like you. I like a lady. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Seriously, Linda Carter as Wonder Woman.
If only they, you know, could have brought her back and just like CGI'd her, just had young Linda Carter.
I would have been very happy with that. Or Elizabeth Shue. That would have been my other fancy. But that's separate.
I've heard good things about Wonder Woman.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing it tonight.
Well, enjoy. Let me know how it is.
I want to see her fighting for our rights in her satin tights, just as the original theme tune said.
I'm going to pay to see it when it comes out. I don't think I'm going to be seeing it early.
I'm going to pay to see Alien Covenant this weekend. I didn't see that. But I do have some Alien Covenant news later.
Oh, yeah. Well, we will get to the box office. Cool. Let's move on to...
War of the Apes?
No.
Okay.
To Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because that was some big news. So, Variety and Hollywood Reporter going with the story that Claire Foy...
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Claire Foy from The Crown, which I don't watch on Netflix.
I've heard great things about it, but I don't. I have zero interest in the British royal family.
Did she win the Emmy or the Golden Globe recently?
Something like that.
I think she won the Golden Globe. Yeah. She is the frontrunner to play Lisbeth Salander in The Girl in the Spider's Web, which is going to be directed by Fede Alvarez.
Brilliant director.
What are your thoughts on this?
Great.
Great?
I mean, she's a good actress.
Is she? Have you seen her?
Yeah,
stuff?
I've not seen her in The Crown, but she was very prevalent in BBC TV and BBC and British films. So she is a good actress.
Well, if you vouch for her, then I believe you.
And she is at a point in her career where I think it would make sense for her to move into something that is an established series that people are familiar with in a pivotal position, rather than kind of being a bit player. I mean, I think she can handle it.
I was surprised. I thought
she's a good actress.
I thought that they would go with a bigger name.
Yeah.
Although I know that she has a name, being on The Crown, but in the world of features, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you in that, but I think also one of the flaws with Fincher's Dragon Tattoo was the fact that it was the star power that detracted from the film a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I found. I mean, obviously,
Rooney Mara was too big a star for you.
Daniel Craig was the big star of that movie, and I'm just kind of like, I would be very open to seeing this version. And Fede works very, very well with that B-level or C-level talent to elevate them to A-level performances. So I think this is the right way for this to go. I think
they have to be getting a big male star.
I would have thought so. To complement that, but not someone who's.
Who could you see
big.
doing it? Who could you see doing it?
I honestly don't know. I haven't given it a moment's thought.
You know who I could kind of see?
Who?
Who I hear is chasing a lot of stuff right now?
Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I could see him as...
Too young? Do you think, maybe?
No.
Okay.
He could be like a established journalist. No.
Yeah, no, I would buy that. That's a good idea.
So,
actually.
anyways,
I like that.
so part of these reports, though, were that Claire Foy, she may not be available. She may pass on this because she's also being courted for First Man at Universal, which is Damien Chazelle's next movie, starring Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong.
She's
probably
very lucky.
playing Neil Armstrong's wife.
She's very lucky to be in a position right now where she is talent that from not being known in the American market to coming over doing something like The Crown, and then everybody suddenly notices her. And I think she just has a lot of offers on the table.
What would you rather have her do?
I would like to see her in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I think if she played Neil Armstrong's wife, I think that would be another, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but second fiddle role, not an A-level role.
Right.
And I think for her now,
in
order
order
to make,
movie.
Otherwise she might get stuck in that thing that a lot of people do, especially, unfortunately, women in the industry, and especially while she's at an age where she can capitalize, because we know how the industry can be brutal to women over a certain age. She's still very young. I would go now, try to hit that, major tentpole release peak.
Well, I've got good news for
fiddle.
you.
Okay,
I've got good news for you, Simon.
If my point was making any
she's going to be able to do both, I think.
Okay.
I think that Girl in the Spider's Web
Yep.
is going to actually move. It is going to accommodate the First Man shoot.
Well, then everyone's a winner.
We'll move back a month or two, mainly because they don't want to lose their first choice, essentially.
Yeah.
And I understand why, this actress doesn't want to necessarily pass on a Damien Chazelle movie either.
Super hot right now.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, I mean, she is good. If I was you, I would check out some of her independent movies from the UK. And some
I
of
will
her,
do
her
just that.
drama
I'll do
stuff.
some investigation.
She's
my
very
next
highly
Lily
regarded
James.
in the UK. So,
all right, move on to Apes.
okay, cool. So, War of the Apes, perhaps the summer movie that I'm most excited about right now. I've been a fan of the Apes franchise, the original movies, not so much the Tim Burton one, but certainly the most recent incarnations. Obviously, we know that this is part of a prequel franchise. War of the Apes, we thought might potentially be. We know there's going to be one more movie. We have been told this week that it's going to be the end for Caesar's story, but not the end for the franchise, which is good. So I would be very interesting to see what they do with the next movie in this series.
Well, I hope you're not spoiling that Caesar may die in this.
Well,
in this
no,
new movie.
This is very interesting because they talk about the end of his story. They don't talk about him dying. So I don't think, I haven't seen the film, I have no intel on this whatsoever, but the way that they phrases that doesn't necessarily mean that he will die.
Right.
It could be a case of
maybe
him-
he'll get a happy ending.
Maybe it'll get a happy ending.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Doesn't look like it though from the
Doesn't look
trailers.
like it, but yeah, so it'll be the end of his story, but not the franchise, which is good. But I would be very interesting to see what, with the next movie, if Matt Reeves takes that on.
I have a feeling he's going to be wrapped up in DC
I think he is.
Eunice
Yeah.
for the foreseeable future. What I would be interested in is if they brought back Andy Serkis to play a different ape. If he's not playing Caesar anymore,
That is true.
it'd be a hell of a waste of a great
Caesar's
mocap performer.
slightly effeminate secret brother.
Who knows? Who knows what direction that this franchise could go?
No, I think it'd be great. To be honest with you, it'll be him or Toby Kebbell.
Let's talk about this David Ayer news that just broke, though.
Yeah, we've got people in the chat talking about that. Do you want to?
Yeah, a lot of reports at a deadline here that David Ayer's in early talks to direct the Scarface reboot. Kind of love it. Kind of would have loved to see a director of color tackle this story. And kind of get that authentic experience or, something like that. But I don't know. David Ayer, known for these kinds of movies, this news does not surprise me in the least.
When you say someone of color,
Yep.
there aren't. I mean, I'm assuming you mean Latino.
It doesn't have to be Latino.
Okay. I was going to say, because there are not a lot of Latino directors, but I think that it would have been very safe in the hands of like an F. Gary Gray.
As a matter of fact, I'm told that they went out to F. Gary Gray.
Oh, really?
And just that he had been a possibility, as well as Alan Hughes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they were looking. I mean, Pablo Larraín.
Throwing this out there, someone, probably one of the black directors when I was growing up that I was a big fan of his work, John Singleton. Do you think... I mean, he hasn't done something of any consequence for quite a while, unfortunately. What was the last time? 4 Brothers?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean...
I don't see John Singleton directing a studio movie anytime soon.
No.
But F. Gary Gray, super hot right now, having just directed the $1 billion Fast and Furious movie.
And he knows
for
how to
Universal.
do drama and action.
Yeah, no, so that would have been a nice idea. But anyways, David Ayer looks like the guy. He's going to, he has Bright coming out in December.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Squad's behind him. He's not coming back for the sequel. Yeah, I guess I can see it. I still struggle to see Diego Luna in this role.
Yeah.
He's just a little. He's very tiny. He's a little dude.
That's what I thought.
And that's what I thought in Rogue One too.
But if you take Diego Luna out of the equation,
not that Pacino isn't a little guy.
No. I mean, he's
Pacino's
both
10 times bigger than he is on screen. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's a little guy.
Just projects like a big guy.
I'm actually taller than Pacino. I interviewed him a couple of years ago for Righteous Kill, and he's a dutty little fella.
Listen, this script has a Coen Brothers draft. I mean, it could be really good. I'm fucking psyched for a new Scarface.
Yeah.
Ayer, oh man, I like Ayer's movies. I loved End of Watch. And he wrote Training Day, obviously, but man, that Suicide Squad movie was real bad.
Good.
We'll see if Bright redeems him. That has a Max Landis script, so.
But also, Suicide Squad was a film that was, to a certain extent, made by committee. And his strongest films haven't been films that have been made by committee. Mm-hmm. So, maybe that was his Achilles heel, and he just needs to go back to the right material to be able to go full DA. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah. Power Rangers sequel. Look like it.
What about it?
Looks like it's not happening. About a year ago.
Shocker.
I know. Who saw that coming?
I thought there was going to be 7 of these movies.
Plot twist. So about a year ago, the guys at Lionsgate had a phone call, and one of the big cheeses there said basically they were looking at Power Rangers as being maybe a 6 or 7 movie franchise. They were still talking about that when the movie came out. They were also saying, I spoke to some of the producers, and they were saying that they were definitely looking at, already prepping the second movie. They started to talk to people for potential villains in that movie. Things had already gone out. It is looking like, unfortunately, though, I say unfortunately, it's been killed by poor overseas box office, where they were actually hoping it was going to be
it only made,
the savior.
I'm looking at it now. It says it made $54 million overseas. 84 here, 54 there, which is actually... I'm surprised it did so well here.
It was like an opening weekend in China of $3 million, I think, which is not good. I mean, the whole thing is... US is $86 million, $100 million budget. This is not a movie.
$100 million budget before P&A.
Yeah, which they spend a lot of money on.
So yeah, the worldwide figure is 138, which they're only getting half of back essentially. I guess that is a pretty big loss. I mean, to me, the whole problem with this is that the Power Rangers movie never, ever should have been $100 million, and whoever greenlit it at that figure is legitimately insane human being. I think you make this movie for 40 to 60 tops.
I was surprised with the budget, and I was surprised about how much money that was thrown at it. I mean, it was fine. It was a goofball movie. It was basically...
That's what I'm saying. So why does it cost $100 million? You're not even spending on cast. Like, what?
I think they basically spunked all the money up front because they were kind of like, they were so convinced that this was going to become a franchise.
They probably spent a shit ton on development.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, and it's a very, FX-heavy movie, and obviously they didn't spend it predominantly on the cast. It was very much about putting all of that on screen and about scope, etc., etc. But it was fine as an Origins movie. It was not a very cohesive movie. It was dumb fun. I mean, I had a couple of cocktails with a friend before we went to watch it, and it was a blast, but it's certainly not a great film. But I think obviously Lionsgate will be a little bit... This is not... In the last 2 years, this is not the first franchise they've had that has kind of not worked. I mean, for every Hunger Games, there's kind of been other things that just haven't gelled, and I think it's... interesting.
People are asking, by the way, on Twitter, what does the David Ayer news mean for Gotham City Sirens?
Yeah, we're having that in the chat as well, actually.
Oh my God, they're talking about it everywhere.
Yeah. What?
What is happening
More than
to Sirens? Sirens, from what I understand, is super fucking far off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I mean, there's nothing more than the fact that he was attached to it that is out there.
Yeah.
So... Might not even happen.
I was shocked anyways that he was going to be coming back for that walk away. They could say go away.
Stay the fuck out.
You know, we'll see with Bright.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Did you see any like trailers this week? Did you see Battle of the Sexes trailer?
I have not. I literally have not seen any trailers this week. I've been insanely busy.
Well, Fox Searchlight, I think it's Fox Searchlight, released that trailer. It looks really good. I mean, Emma Stone and Steve Carell going to be huge awards contenders, especially at the Globes. And Fox Searchlight, I think, also released a trailer for Patty Cakes, which was my favorite movie of the year. So you should definitely check that out.
Okay, I will do. And the House trailer I've heard is very funny as well, which I'm looking forward to. Which is a Will Ferrell.
I'm excited about
comedy?
The House. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's not a lot of strong comedy this year so far.
Well, we have a bunch coming out. We have that one. Wait. There's Baywatch.
Yeah.
There's that film, The House.
Yeah.
There's A Rough Night with Scarlett Johansson. Baby Driver, not like a straight comedy, an action comedy, but I'm sure it'll have some laughs. I don't know. I think the best is yet to come.
Well, I'm genuinely worried about Rough Night.
I've heard it's just okay.
I like the idea of it. I'm hugely on board with it. I've seen Baywatch.
I want to see it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
Solid,
funny.
Solid dick jokes.
Solid dick jokes.
Seriously.
Well,
some really funny dick jokes. Some very creative swearing. A lot of very funny recurring jokes. Good action sequences. Wasn't a big fan of the villain.
Okay.
It's fun. It's done fun.
I think I'm seeing it Monday.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Elsewhere, Angela Bassett, Mission Impossible 6. She's going to be playing the CIA director.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Angela Bassett?
I know. I love her, and I love her playing these kind of guys.
What's love got to do with it, Jeff?
Stella got a groove back. Great movie, by the way. No, but she did that similar kind of role in the Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. She literally, it wasn't a bullet, but she took a bullet in the second movie just to get the fuck out of Dodge. And now she's doing this again, and I'm kind of like, I love Angela Bassett, but does she have to keep playing
I just want to get her out.
Agent type stuff?
She can play government agents as long as she wants. To me, it's just get her out from behind a desk.
Yeah.
Have you seen this woman? She will fucking kick half of these male Hollywood stars' asses.
Yeah.
She's a super fucking badass.
She is.
Check out Strange Days if you haven't. That's one of my favorite Angela Bassett movies.
Great movie.
But yeah, give her something to do. I'd love to see her have an actual action sequence with Tom Cruise.
I mean, this stuff is great for her. It's easy money. But oh my God, could she do like a little kick-ass action sequence?
She's coming in very late. I mean, that movie's been in production for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So.
I've got a feeling they're going to be doing some Mission Impossible stuff in LA because Tom is in LA this weekend at the big shopping center on the Hollywood and on Highland. They're unveiling a massive mummy sarcophagus on Saturday, which they put up in the shopping center.
It's like an 80-foot sarcophagus.
And I think I'm just thinking. I mean, I have nothing to back this up, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm wondering if they are going to be doing some Mission Impossible work in and around the greater Los Angeles area in the next week or so.
We'll see. The new trailer, I think, looks cool.
Yeah. I love the franchise. I'm a big fan of the Mission Impossible movies. And I'm a Tom Cruise fan.
I'm talking about The Mummy, sorry.
Oh, The Mummy. Oh, cool.
I am holding out hope.
I've stopped watching trailers for it because I want some surprises.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. THR has it tracking at a $40 million opening, which is not bad.
But it's not
It's not great, and it's definitely not something that you're looking to peg a universe on. Especially like, you have, this is Tom Cruise. You've got other movies like with Javier Bardem and Johnny Depp. And yeah, like if the Cruise one isn't working, I don't know, man.
I keep seeing posters around LA as well, on billboards and stuff, and it says The Mummy Summer. And I'm like, that sounds like a comedy.
The Mummy Summer?
The Mummy Summer.
Well, the M
with
and the
Melissa
Y.
McCarthy.
Taika Waititi was tweeting this about how the M and the Y kind of fade into the rest of the poster, so it looks like the Summer. Like, and to me, like the writing on her head, it's like X equals, square. It's like all these symbols, and it looks like fucking Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind writing on the window. Like, it's not a great outdoor campaign for the Mummy. I gotta say,
it's not superb right now. But I mean, I'm still on board. It's Tom Cruise, man.
Yeah, hey man,
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is the fucking shit.
Do you want to go together?
I already tweeted how American Made is going to be my favorite movie of the year, just based on one still of Tom Cruise in character.
Right.
He is great. I will give The Mummy a chance.
Yash in the chat is saying that the Brendan Fraser one, I'm assuming you mean the original one, is a classic movie. It's a great fun movie. The other Mummy movies were terrible, but I'm looking forward to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise can.
Hey, the Mummy franchise gave us Dwayne The Rock Johnson, so
yeah,
fucking
that is true. Scorpion King.
Count your lucky stars.
Yeah.
Did I tell you, by the way? And I really wanted to get more tickets. I couldn't. Okay. I saw Kevin Hart perform on Sunday.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry. I had one ticket. Simon's like, I'm so sorry, buddy.
Oh, okay.
If I see him perform again, I will absolutely take you. He was a blast though in person, and you are gonna love his new shit.
Thanks. I probably would have loved it if I'd have seen it.
Hey, I didn't go with you to the Pirates screening last night.
Your parents want to take me out for dinner, and you go and see Kevin Hart, and you leave my ass at home.
They actually are around today. They get in today. So.
Sweet.
I will hit you up. I will hit you up this weekend. Dude. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we'll figure it out.
I'm looking forward to meeting the people.
Oh God, who birthed this?
Who birthed this?
There's some other interesting odds and ends TV things and whatnot. There's going to be a King Kong musical on Broadway. You told me.
Yeah, this sounds like it's going to suck. This to me smells very much like. Sometimes movies turned into musicals work really, really well, and I revealed early this year that Hidden Figures is apparently in line to be turned into a Broadway musical.
That was a good scoop.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, but for every hairspray and that, there is ones that don't work, and a recent one was the Spider-Man one that didn't work. This, to me, smells of Spider-Man.
Will King Kong be singing? That's all I want to know. Will he have his own musical number? I am Kong. I don't know what the second line of that song is.
Me monkey,
this
blah,
is
blah,
my
blah.
song.
Yeah, I'm like, a jungle's life for me. I don't know. I don't want to go and see this.
So okay, I was just going to ask you, like, would you pay? Broadway tickets are expensive.
Yeah.
King Kong, we wish them the best of luck with that development. A couple TV things. There's a Dark Crystal series.
There is, yeah, it's a prequel series. Trailer hit the internet this week. Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance is a prequel to the movie, which is I think 35 years old now.
I'm not. I gotta say, I used to watch Fraggle Rock and stuff, but I was never a big Dark Crystal guy. I don't think
liked it.
Stuff is for me anymore.
I used to when I was a kid back in the 1800s. I used to like watching some really sort of family stuff that was a little bit fucked up. So like Return to Oz with Fairuza Balk, fucking weird. I used to like watching Dark Crystal. Dark as fuck. Krull. Weird. I used to love all those movies, so I've got a little place in my heart for Dark Crystal. That was my kind of Del Toro shit as a kid.
All right, so you're in for this prequel series.
Yeah, I'm certainly interested in it.
I'm wondering what is happening with the Fraggle Rock. Isn't there a Fraggle Rock movie in the works with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Well, there was certainly talks of that. At the moment, what they're focusing on, because I spoke to Brian Henson a couple of months about this, and what they're focusing on at the moment is they've cleaned up all the old Fraggle Rock episodes, and they're going to be showing them on HBO. If that goes down well, they'll look at doing more Fraggle Rock stuff. They'll create new episodes. But the ones that are going to be back on TV, I think from later this year, are going to be the old episodes, sort of cleaned up, sound brought up to date, etc., etc. They're going to be the stuff that we've seen before. If that works well, yeah, maybe that movie could happen. But there hasn't been talk about that for quite a while. And certainly Happy Town Murders is something that Brian's been focusing on for quite a while, and that looks like it's finally moving forward.
That is something I'm excited for, because that has,
yeah.
that's an adult thing.
But they're a great team. I'm going back on the lot with the Henson guys for another project soon.
Look
at me. What am I, a Muppet? So I'll see what I can find out about that. They do have a lot of the old puppets from the Dark Crystal in the lobby in the Henson Studios. You go in, you go to the reception desk, and all the cabinets around it.
I always preferred
There
Labyrinth.
are all these classic things.
Labyrinth is the one.
Labyrinth's my favorite.
Tell me about this Dredd thing.
Yeah, lots of talk. Carl Urban as Dredd. The film didn't do fantastically well, but a lot of people love the movie, though. Then there was talk of maybe a sequel. That isn't happening. Then, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, we heard that there's going to be a TV incarnation of Judge Dredd. Looks like Carl Urban, if he can make it work, is interested in reprising the role of Dredd for the TV series, which I think would be good.
He was great.
Brilliant.
I love Dredd. I would love to see more of Carl Urban in that role. And I you know what? I bring back Olivia Thirlby. She was really good in that movie and did not get the pop off of it that I thought that she would.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great movie. I mean, I rewatched it again recently, and I was kind of like, well, is it as good as I remember? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's fucking badass.
Yeah, it's great. So cool.
Speaking of badasses, a couple of cool ones. Sandra Bullock doing this movie Cash Truck, a remake of, I think it's a French film, Les Convoyeurs. And she's like an American woman who takes a job at a London armed car company, sort of looking for revenge, though. Who knows? But I just like the idea of her doing action thrillers again. I really like her in that mode. We fell in love with her in Speed.
Could it be Speed 3 in a money truck?
No.
Keanu Reeves, back. Oh, my God.
That would be an interesting
I got to get
twist.
the money to the bank. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? He did tell me earlier this year he wants to work with Sandy again.
I mean, they should do Speed 3.
Let's do it. Oh, my God.
It's just not this movie.
That'd be great. Awesome.
I think that this will see her sort of channeling her inner Liam Neeson, if you will.
Yeah.
And Joel Silver's producing. Yeah. You ever see Murder by Numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie, too. I like her in this kind of...
Talking of Murder by Numbers, a movie that
there's a segue that
there's
starts
kind of a segue.
Speed.
I'm kind of thinking about 90s, early thousands kind of movies of the great thrillers that are often overlooked. Pacific Heights. I got to talk to Matthew Modine this week.
How many names can you drop in one
Careful
show?
you don't fall over them.
I mean,
I've had a busy week, but I just wanted to share the news with you. I'd like to think the audience might enjoy
the big Matthew Modine news.
Seriously, he's looking good. He's in good form right now.
Hey,
he's obviously just filmed the Sicario sequel as well.
Soldado.
So yeah, he was doing that. He couldn't talk about that. He signed loads of NDAs to not talk about anything to do with that movie. Okay. But I just wanted to tell him how much I love Pacific Heights, because that is a 90s movie. Great thriller.
That is a 90s.
It's fucking great. And it's a great movie, and it doesn't get the love.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Is that
Alec Baldwin?
It was Michael Keaton played the lunatic downstairs. Right.
Yeah. Which one is Alec Baldwin?
No.
Which one is that?
Alec Baldwin's not in that.
No, but which? It's going to drive me nuts.
Is that Sliver? No, that's the other Baldwin.
I'll find it. Why don't you give us the box office report?
Okay, the box office report.
Give us the fucking box office report.
There's a big movie that comes out this weekend, Alien Covenant. Already come out in several markets. I did a piece on this for Forbes this week, comparing the box office of all the Alien movies, because Alien Covenant comes out here. It's out now. It previewed last night. So Thursday night box office, it did domestically 4.2 million in previews, which is kind of in line with the likes of Mad Max Fury Road. So it's, not a massively different audience there. Looking at about 40 to 45 million for a weekend this weekend, compared to what Prometheus did, which is 51. It's not a million miles off that, but it is less. But looking at the international markets last weekend, we saw in some markets like an up to 70% drop-off on the opening weekend between Prometheus and Alien Covenant. So it's definitely, a lot of people, I think, have been burnt by the franchise. But yeah, so I mean, 40 to 45 is okay. It's not amazing. I think they were looking for more.
Yeah, I could have seen this opening to 50 to 60 before, and I guess there's just not enough of us Alien fans out there.
Well,
I don't think this is a bad opening. It all depends on what the budget is, obviously. I just Googled Alien Covenant budget. I got 3 different numbers here. 97, 111, and 150.
MK Songbird is calling it Alien Mare-venant, which is kind of fine from what I've been reading.
That is so clever.
It is very clever. Well done. I'm gonna go and pay to see that this weekend if I can.
You should. I enjoyed it.
While I went to the Ridley Scott. Don't fall over that other name I've dropped. It's getting to be a health hazard in here today. Ridley Scott got to put his hands and feet in cement outside the TCL Chinese Theatre.
How has this not happened yet?
Today. Well, that's what I asked him. I went, and Fassbender, and names dropping. What,
right, he's already a sir, for Christ's sake.
I was
can't
like,
even
how's
get his
this
hands
not
in the
happened?
cement?
Everybody was like, I don't know. Everybody thought he's got a star, but he didn't have his hands and feet, so he did that. I asked him about the. He's obviously working on another Alien prequel, which is coming. He has decided on a title for it, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. But he said the script is very
This is
well
a different one
right
besides Alien Awakening? There's another?
Yeah. I think it's 2 more, but he wouldn't talk about the titles.
Okay.
But he's saying, obviously, he doesn't write the script. Script writers do that, but he said the script is well on the way, which is quite good. I also spoke to Danny McBride at the event, and, we did all the blah, blah, blah serious stuff. And then I said, I was just curious, because I love Danny's comedy. Is there a secret version of Alien Covenant somewhere that is just basically dick jokes? And he said he kind of pitched the idea to Ridley Scott that he could put some dick jokes in the movie, and Ridley was not up for that at all. Ridley's a very serious man. But I would love to see the Danny McBride spoof of Alien with dick jokes all the way. Come on.
I'm sure they'll save something for the DVD release.
Maybe they will.
We got to talk about this guy who is suing his date over a movie ticket.
Love this story.
This is amazing.
So if you haven't, do you want to
you do it. You do it.
Cool. So if you haven't seen the story this week, basically, there's a guy who's suing a girl that he went on a date with for the sum total of $17.31 because they went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and all the way through, she was texting and tweeting and messing about on her phone. So basically, this guy was really, really pissed off. This was their first date. He's now suing her for the price of the ticket. Apparently, she used her phone to read and send text messages at least 10 to 20 times in 15 minutes. Now, I genuinely get really annoyed by people fucking about with their phones watching a movie. I hate it. Even in press screenings and people do it. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's really distracting and it's annoying. And can't you just leave your phone alone for 2 hours? Just fucking put it down. But you don't sue somebody over it. I mean, you're just... you're cock-blocking yourself
that's
forever.
The thing. This guy is clearly... he's delusional.
Yeah. It's annoying.
He was, like, posturing, about how... He made this, like, a gender issue and how women, like, take advantage of men, and he's sick and tired of it, and he's standing up for all of it. Like, it was like, dude, you're nuts. Who would actually take this to small claims court? Only a crazy individual.
But no one's ever gonna date you. Why would you do that?
Right. This is now like he's linked to it forever. His name is linked to this fucking lawsuit when you Google this guy's name.
Brandon Vesmar.
Oh my god. So the Alamo Drafthouse offered to reimburse him, I think, for the cost of his ticket.
I'd just say take the money.
I love that this is Austin. Like, this is like the #1 place where you don't text on your phone. I feel like in Austin, it's sacred. I don't know, but I look at my phone in screenings when I have to. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I mean, he sent the
What's going on
the woman a text and says, "I have to find my own ride home because I told you your phone was distracting me." He says. Crystal, your behavior Saturday was not only rude, but it cost me money. I want you to compensate me for the $17 movie ticket and the $4 pizza. Fuck. Will you do this, or do I have to pursue the money in small claims court? I can file online from my laptop, and I'm willing to do so. Your behavior was wildly out of line, and I'm happy to pursue putting you in the books for it. Jesus Christ! Do you ever want to have sex again?
Yeah, this guy's a psychopath.
I mean, it is annoying, but that is not a normal reaction.
We all had fun with this on Twitter, because I'm like, this woman is a monster. She's a monster for texting during a fucking movie. But clearly, this dude has a screw loose. So
I do love the fact that
really blame her.
James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, got in, and other movies, of course, got involved. And he said, "Why stop at suing? She deserves jail time."
Right, lock her up. It's too absurd to be true.
Ow, it's annoying, but good God, man.
Speaking of bad screenings, I love the reports I woke up to this morning that there was a technical issues at the Okja screening.
Yes, I heard that.
In Cannes?
Yeah.
What a coincidence. That is fucking hilarious. After all this Netflix versus Cannes bullshit over the past week, a completely manufactured story. There is no controversy. I love how like Will Smith is making global headlines for saying like he likes Netflix. Like we all like Netflix. I mean, I'm sure the people who work at Cannes have Netflix.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
It's just I love how the media blows up certain stories, and just runs with them.
Let's touch on a couple of other things. Scott Derickson. We were talking about some TV stuff earlier.
Oh boy, Snowpiercer.
Scott, follow her on Twitter, which is great. He follows me. I know. I'm collecting quite a little cabal of
coterie
of people. Yeah, a little harem of Hollywood people. Scott Derickson is going to direct the TV version of Snowpiercer, a Snowpiercer series for TNT, which I think is great. That film, if you haven't seen Snowpiercer, and it was on Netflix for a while, I don't know if it's still on there, but seriously,
like
that is
Wolves of Steel.
That is a great movie, Snowpiercer.
No, it's not.
I loved Snowpiercer. Come on.
It's good. I liked it too, but it's not a great movie.
I really enjoyed that movie. Classic Chris Evans.
I think it could actually make a kind of cool TV series, especially with someone like Scott Derickson steering the train. He's the conductor, right?
Yeah.
I forget what that was called for a second.
Should have Steven Seagal in there.
It sounded interesting too, where Daveed Diggs is playing like a drug-addicted passenger in the back of the train.
You
who,
will know him
helps
from
lead
Hamilton, of course.
Yeah, this guy's blowing up. You're going to be seeing a lot more of him on the big screen and apparently the small now.
Yep. Akira, let's talk about that.
Yes.
It's a favorite topic of
yours.
yours.
The good folks at Collider got their hands on Jordan Peele and asked him just point blank about it. And he said, listen, Akira is one of my favorite things.
Yep.
And I'm just not looking to do a big tentpole thing. I want to do something that's original.
Yeah.
I want to tell original stories. And if that's in the genre space, so be it.
He's not short of good ideas. Seriously.
Yeah,
he's a guy that's got a lot of stories to tell.
Listen, I don't blame him. I felt like I had to report that, given how hot he has been off of Get Out. He even said, I think, he just did a big interview with Deadline where he said he declined to talk about all the studio offers that he's fielding. And again, this is the only thing that has come out in connection with him. So I think at the point of my Akira story was to sort of say, this guy, the studios are desperate to be in business with him after the profit that Get Out made. I never really expected him to do it. Like when I was in CinemaCon and I filed that story, and then I went and met up with like the guys from Slash Film and Jermaine, and they were just like, "Yeah, so that's not going to happen." I was like, "Hey, it's, I can't concern myself with that as a reporter. Like Warner Brothers wants him to do it. I feel like that's newsworthy. And that's the story. It's not about whether he's actually going to do it or not."
A lot of, like we said earlier, a lot of times that studios want people to do things, it doesn't actually happen. But,
although there are things that us trade reporters are holding even right now, huge stories that would light up the internet for sure. They would be trending all over Twitter and Facebook if I said them. But I honestly just don't think that they're going to happen. So.
Do you think Akira
you have to have restraint?
Will happen?
Yes, absolutely. It's too big an IP, and they've sunk so much development money into it. Like, I think at this point, they kind of have to. It's just about figuring out how to do it the right way.
Yash in the chat is saying that Jordan Peele should direct Cyborg. I've not heard that before.
You haven't heard it because it's retarded.
Come on.
Sorry to use that word, everybody, but like, what? Jordan Peele should direct Cyborg? Why? Because he's black? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, that went down well.
Sorry, commenter. That's my honest opinion. You right? God.
I suppose you contribute to the show. You get your response.
People.
Someone else. No, I won't. Yash has come up with another idea, but as his
no
last
more
one went
ideas
down,
from you, Yash. You're fucking canceled. You're out today.
So well,
you're in
with you, I won't bring
Let's
that.
Let's talk about Chris Cornell.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. Gutted when I heard about his death.
Rough one.
Yeah, was not expecting it. And I'm kind of kicked myself. I know this sounds slightly bad. I turned down an interview with him quite recently ahead of his new tour, and I'm a fan. I was a massive fan of Soundgarden. Believe it or not, I used to have hair, and it was abundant, and I was a grunge person. But I was just genuinely upset. He was such a great guy, and I never got the chance to ever have a proper conversation with him. I loved his music.
Just some friendly advice.
Sure.
I think if you're offered those kinds of interviews with like musicians like that,
just take them.
Yeah, you have to. Athletes, authors. It's different than interviewing a movie star.
Yeah.
And there are fewer opportunities. It's rare. So just keep that in mind the next time you get offered something like that.
It was purely a scheduling thing for me, and I genuinely kicked myself because I wanted to do it. And then a friend of mine caught up with him at a premiere in LA quite recently for The Promise. He turned up on the red carpet and had a great conversation with him for like 10 minutes.
An original song for that.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll even find his way to an Oscar nomination for that this year. You never know.
When people were sort of paying tribute to him this week, they obviously talked about his work with Soundgarden and various other projects that he'd been done in. But for me, I mean, I always really liked a lot of the stuff that he did connected to film, and obviously Singles is one of my favorite Cameron Crowe movies.
Yeah, that's a great soundtrack. He's got a good song on that.
Great movie.
Collateral.
Very much,
he's a big part of Collateral.
But also like True Romance. He had stuff in Benny and June, Say Anything. He was involved in
he's
music
had
for
a
Say
big
Anything.
impact on movies. I agree. And Bond.
Casino Royale.
I didn't realize he's the first person who sang a Bond theme to die.
Yeah.
Everyone else is still alive.
Yeah.
Chris, this one hit me hard. He was only 52. He was performing that night.
Yeah.
I don't know how you just perform at a show and then go and kill yourself. I mean, they're saying there was ruled a suicide by hanging, but it hit me hard because Prince. I did not grow up listening to Prince. I did not grow up listening to David Bowie.
I did.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
Is a guy I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
I had all those Soundgarden and Audio Slave albums, and so yeah, bummer.
Yeah. Really, really sad. I would love to have seen him. I think he was moving towards it. We're seeing a lot of bands now moving towards this in the last couple of years, doing soundtracks to films. And I would have loved to have seen him soundtrack a movie, kind of like Trent Reznor went on to do from like Nine Inch Nails. I would have loved to have seen something like that in the future.
Or Eddie Vedder doing Into the Wild.
Yeah.
How much time do we have left in the show? Can we get a timer in the booth? There's a few other things here.
Can I touch on Pirates of the Caribbean while you're getting that sorted? Very quickly?
Sure.
Okay. I saw Pirates of the Caribbean. You know I'm not a major fan of the franchise. Really enjoyed it. Did the premiere last night. It was great. There is, and I'm allowed to say this, there is a post-trailer. Post-credit sequence, which you should stay to watch.
You heard it here, folks. Don't leave your seat. Sit through those 10 minutes of credits at Pirates of the Caribbean for this amazing post-credit sequence, because everything needs a post-credit sequence.
Apparently they do now.
We are wrapping up here. Some bits and pieces. Jake Gyllenhaal and Benedict Cumberbatch doing this movie Rio from Luca Guadagnino.
Yes, not a live-action version of the animated movie.
No, that was a good joke, though,
Thank you.
that day.
Thank you so much.
Kenneth Branagh talks to direct the Otto Frank movie Keeper of the Diary, which is he'd play Anne Frank's father, who's trying to get someone to publish the diary. Mm-hmm. Ended up changing the world, of course. The Craft, Daniel Casey is going to rewrite that remake, so that project is moving forward. Lee Janiak directing.
I kind of want to see that. I kind of don't, because I still really love The Craft.
That's a movie that I'm going to say is casting dependent. Viggo Mortensen is going to be hunting down the Unabomber in a movie curiously titled Unabomb. Not Unabomber, just Unabomb. Jesse Eisenberg is going to be playing Marcel Marceau. I can totally see that. Doo-doo-doo. And then, there was this... All right, Jonah Hill's going to star in the Safdie Brothers' Uncut Gems.
Yep.
Which was at A24. A24's in Cannes right now with the Safdie Brothers' Good Time.
Yep.
Starring Robert Pattinson. That released a trailer this week, and I thought it looked super good. But he's robbing banks in the trailer, and he's using a black person mask. So he looks just like a black guy. And when I took a screenshot of the trailer and put it out there, people were stunned that... that this was Robert Pattinson. They didn't realize necessarily that it was a mask. Maybe they thought it was makeup. It was just crazy, the invective and the hate that poured in. And it's like, if you're a thief and you're a white guy, why wouldn't you send the police chasing after a black guy? Like it's all about the context.
Interesting.
It's just so funny how people blow these things out of proportion. They're just like, that's the instinct now. Anyways, is there anything else you want to talk about? You good?
Very quickly, Zac Efron going to play Ted Bundy. That
was great news. Shockingly evil and vile, and that whole script by Michael Warry.
And again, like I said to Freddie Highmore a couple of years ago, you should play a psycho. I've said to Zac many, many times that I'd love to see him play a serial killer. Ted Bundy.
I am super excited for this movie. I've heard good things about My Friend Dahmer, which was at...
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, I do love a good serial killer movie. Yeah. I do. I mean, they used to be in vogue in the 70s and 80s, and they've kind of gone out of phase, but I'm looking forward to this. Do you love a good serial killer movie?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's show.
Yeah, what a week.
You here next week?
I am here next week.
We'll throw it down.
I am seeing Wonder Woman tonight, and I'm talking to the cast next week, so I'll have some Wonder Woman news next week, which will be great.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait. What's next week? What day is it?
It's Friday.
I will be here next week.
Yeah,
It's the
cool.
following week I won't be here. I
Okay.
forgot to give you that heads up. So let's do the show next week.
Let's do it.
Tune back in to Meet the Movie
Yep.
Press next Friday at 9 a.m. on the Popcorn Talk Network. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Simon, where can the good folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ShowbizSimon. You can find my work on Forbes and other places, including E! and Reuters, and I've got a Facebook page. This is Simon Thompson.
And I am Jeff Sneider, editor-in-chief of the Tracking Board, tracking-board.com. Make sure to read it closely and carefully, because I bury all kinds of cool nuggets of information and stories now.
And don't forget to tell your friends. Retweet.
At the
Leave reviews.
Insider, all that good stuff.
Nice
Thanks for
reviews.
watching, everybody. Have a good Alien weekend.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.